Breaking news, a woman was found deceased in a freezer back in December, and now the freezer is in front of the home with a free sign. The shocking discovery was made on Thursday afternoon. On December 22nd of 2023 in San Diego, a body was found inside of a home inside of a chest freezer. The discovery was made by out-of-town family members visiting for the holidays. Last week, they identified the victim as Mary Margaret Haxby Jones. In addition, they believe that she could have been deceased for up to 9 years. At this time, authorities are working to identify who has been living in the home for the past 9 years. Neighbors say from time to time they would see a slim man in his 70s around the home. Now on Thursday, authorities made the shocking discovery in front of the home. Neighbors and passerbys were stunned to see the chest freezer with the free sign in front of the home. In addition, 2 police cars also drove by, and one of them making an extended stop for several minutes. At this time, it is not clear whether the home was targeted by morbid pranksters or if someone removed the fridge from the home and put it on the sidewalk. However, on Thursday, authorities released a statement saying, quote, the freezer connected to the case was taken by the medical examiner's office. In addition to the case, they said, quote, the cause of death is still pending, so yes, it's too soon to say if it wasn't a homicide. To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
Last night near Chicago, people were trapped inside their apartments for hours after the apartment manager came and boarded up all the doors while residents were still inside. Elderly, residents, children, and pets boarded inside apartment complex as every single door gets covered. Apparently, people said that the apartment manager just came up with crews in the dead of night, took all the doors off the apartments, and boarded everyone up inside their own apartments. Look at the giant pile of wood right here, and they were covering every door, window, everything, while people were still inside. Apparently, big media outlets said that it was not the police, but the woman who was there recording said that she did see police there helping board up these people. Apparently, also, there were never any physical papers handed to these residents to let them know that they needed to get out of their apartment. The apartment manager just showed up in the middle of the night and trapped them inside. Now, this happened just outside of Chicago in Harvey, Illinois, and people still have no idea who made this call and what's going to happen. Apparently, this was some low-income apartments, and people were trying to say that because it was low income, that the officials think they can just get by with it and nobody will make a fuss. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments.
This little girl refused to leave school with her father. The teacher immediately called the police after learning what was going on. The bell had just rung, and that meant school was over for the day. All the children were excited to return home, and their parents were waiting for them outside the school to take them back. However, a strange man was watching the children as they left the school, and he approached and pretended to be the father of this girl named Clara. The girl immediately refused to follow the stranger and started crying because she was so scared. But the strange man didn't give up and told the teacher that he was indeed Clara's father, and that she was just angry because he hadn't bought her favorite lollipop as he usually did after school. That said, the teacher immediately noticed that something was wrong, so he decided to call the police, ensuring not to draw attention. Simultaneously, he started following the man and Clara on the sly, keeping a safe distance to remain unnoticed. The stranger had no idea that the teacher was following him, and you'll never believe what happened next. Follow me and find out what happened next in part 2.
Want to get creeped out? Let's talk about a Reddit user who tried the Midnight Game. The Midnight Game. I played it, and I was a complete moron. I need to tell this to someone. So, a while ago, a friend of mine sent me an intriguing URL saying, I suggest we do this sometime. Of course, I'm talking about the Midnight Game, which everybody here has known about for a couple of years at least. The gist of it is that you write your name on a piece of paper, put your on it, light a big candle, and then put them both in front of your wooden door. As the time nears midnight, you start to knock on your own front door 22 times. The 22nd knock needs to be at the stroke of midnight, and you then blow the candle out and relight it. Doing this is said to invite the Midnight Man into your home, where you must walk around in complete darkness with the candle as your source of light. So not complete darkness, just saying. If the candle goes out, it means he's near, and you have to light your candle within 10 seconds, or make a circle around yourself in salt and stay inside of it. Other things that can happen are the room can go cold, you can hear a whisper, or even see a humanoid figure as you're walking around. This continues until 3:33 a.m., whereupon if you've done everything correctly, you have won the game. If you lose, there are threats of insanity or even death. A couple other things to mention. I have seen renditions versions of this where it is said that the Midnight Man will make you hallucinate your fears. From the experience that I had from 12 to 3:33, I either think that part was not super integral to my experience, or I didn't up bad enough to hallucinate. Also, it is taken as direct provocation to try to chide the Midnight Man. I'll explain my colossal up a bit further down. I, like most generic Redditors, don't have any belief in the supernatural, and I like to test little things like this as a way of amusing myself. And until this weekend, I've had zero respect for anything of this sort. I'd never had a genuine paranormal experience, to the best of my knowledge. Just this past Friday, I remembered suddenly when my friend told me about the midnight game. Since I wouldn't have an opportune time to do this otherwise, as I live with my mother and she's been spending the night often at my grandparents' house to help care for them, I call Ryan up and ask if he's still in, which he replies, and this is verbatim,
"Yeah, I've been waiting for this call."
"Splendid." My friend, who will call Ryan because his name is Ryan, picks up 2 giant-ass Morton salt shakers on the way over at around 10. Alright, Ryan is basically the same as me. Smart-ass-ish about things like this, but still a little apprehensive of the dark, and as he admitted when he told me about it, he would never do this on his own, but would totally if someone else was with him. I was wearing an analog watch and could check it every so often. Here we go, 11:55 p.m. Ryan and I are getting our materials ready so we can write, prick, and knock all in the allotted time span. Ryan suggests that we throw the fuse, since turning on lights means losing the game, but I don't really feel comfortable with fumbling around with all that. We just need to be disciplined about not turning anything with power on and we'll be good. 11:59 p.m. to 12 a.m. We execute our name cards really well, and I end up doing the honor of the knocking. Ryan helps me synchronize the knocks, and I get it right on the dot. We blow out our candles and re-enter, lighting them again. As soon as we both have things lit, Ryan lets out an "ooh," and we both laugh and relax a little. 12 a.m. to 12:45 a.m. You're supposed to move around or the Midnight Man is able to find you or something, so we creep around slowly, tracing the wall and staying into more open rooms. We start to go towards my bedroom, but Ryan says he feels
like it would be too cramped.
Both of our candles are doing just fine, and as Florida nights are this time of year, the house is as hot as we expected. As we walk around, we talk and joke a little bit, though we were definitely both nervous to some degree. 12:45 a.m. to 12:55 a.m. Ryan asks me if we're allowed to eat during the game. I actually hadn't a clue and told him to go for it if he can avoid opening the fridge, since I'm sure the light would disqualify us from the game. I actually don't know what he ate because I forgot to ask and was distracted by what he said when he came back into the living room. With a full mouth, he says,
"When is the Nightman supposed to arrive?"
And God damn it, I wish he hadn't said that, because I reply with, "The Nightman in a moment. I regret more than anything." I began to sing, and Ryan chimes in. In an instance, both of us are singing "The Nightman Cometh" from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Sorry, I'm not gonna sing for you guys. Doing that was the single most stupidest thing I did, because the night was not the same from that point on. 12:58 a.m. The only reason I remember the exact time is that I was looking at my watch by candlelight when the mother just went out. I didn't think I could panic like such a little girl or little boy, and I quickly relight it in no more than 5 seconds. That was close, I say, and Ryan looks at me silently. He makes a weird face, and I ask him, "What's wrong?"
"What did you say?"
He asks me, and I repeat myself. I said, "That was close." And he says,
No, I heard that. What did you start to say right after that?"
Apparently, he had heard me whispering words immediately following what I'd said. We move over towards the bathroom in the hallway pretty quickly.
You guys, this video is actually too long for TikTok, so it's actually uploading on the longer storytelling platform right now. My handle is The Queer Crypt across all socials. And if you're here right now, you just watched 5 minutes and 20 seconds of this video, so feel free to just fast forward on that other platform to 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and then you can hear the rest.
Minutes after murdering a teen, a gym teacher goes dancing and doesn't know that when he left her for dead, she actually survived.
Pay attention to the man in the red sweater and the blue cap. At first glance, he looks perfectly normal, but the truth is, he attacked a 17-year-old girl, dragged her body into the woods, and left her for dead. Was it done in a fit of rage or in cold blood? The most disturbing thing about this video is it was filmed on April 27, 2006, mere minutes after the murder. Or so he thought.
She's breathing. She's breathing. Get EMT. Get EMTs.
Assaulted, paralyzed, and left for dead, 17-year-old Ashley Reeves never thought having a friendship with a gym teacher would end up nearly costing her her life. But she survived because of the relentless officers who found her in the nick of time. They were out in the woods looking for a body, but she
In 2006, when new investigators were re-examining evidence in Michelle's cold case, they discovered something. On Michelle's black dress, the one she'd been wearing while she was attacked, lab analysts re-examined it and discovered uncollected DNA.
But it doesn't do any good if it doesn't match with someone.
Which they run it through CODIS and it doesn't.
I'm starting to figure this out.
Right. But they know, well, we have our two suspects, Andy and Kurt. I mean, it's been years. These men are now grown, have families, you know what I mean? But we can still test this DNA against them. So quickly, DNA from boyfriend Andy and Kurt Thomas were in line to be collected. And so they collect Andy's DNA, and it was not Andy, the boyfriend. So after much back and forth between Kurt's lawyer and police, Kurt just decided to relent and give his sample.
I'm kind of nervous.
And when the results come back, police call Kurt's lawyer and tell him he was not a match. Okay. And that was it. End of conversation. And because of this, the case goes cold. But then in 2018, when Detective Matt Dellinger heard about the capture of the Golden State Killer using familial DNA, a revolution in solving cold cases, the first of its kind, he was like, maybe we could do this. A distant family member submits their DNA into a genealogy database and police can work through the family tree to find the killer. So Matt Dellinger decided he wanted to try it on Michelle's case. They had nothing to lose. And that was when police discovered a partial match from their killer to a woman living in Washington State. Whoever this DNA belongs to, the killer's DNA, has a second cousin once removed in Washington State.
So they want to talk to her, obviously.
They're going to go talk to her. They're going to say, who's your parents? Okay. And they're going to start creating a family tree. This match helped them build a family tree using genealogy work. Although it defied logic, they really don't believe she knew her killer based off of this tree. Maybe the motive all along had just been murder. So after much back and forth, the family tree led police to 3 brothers living in the small town of Manchester, Iowa, which is roughly 45 minutes from Cedar Rapids. And one of these 3 brothers was most likely Michelle's killer. Police had narrowed it down. These brothers were Jerry Burns, Kenneth Burns, or Donald Burns.
The way that Gypsy knew to like shut up in interviews or like around people was when, if her mom like grabbed her arm. And now people are like clipping interviews of Gypsy and her husband, and she's doing the same thing to her husband. Like, it's bad.
Got a little update for you guys. If you have been following the case of the 3 men from Kansas City, Missouri, who were found deceased in this backyard of their friend Jordan Willis's home that he was renting, it appears that Jordan is moving out. Now, if you don't know this case, here's a quick recap. These 3 men went over to the home of Jordan Willis on Sunday night to watch the Chiefs game. They didn't go home after the game. They didn't go to work on Monday or Tuesday. Finally, on Tuesday at around 10 p.m., Clayton's fiance had gone to the house, went around to the back because Jordan wasn't answering the door, even though she had been banging and hollering out his name and knew that he was home. So she went around to the back. She was able to break in through a window, and then she saw a body on the porch covered in snow. She called police, and after they arrived, they found 2 more bodies. Jordan apparently has no clue what happened and told people they must have just froze to death. This is after he had been ignoring everybody's calls and texts for the past 2 days, asking if he had any idea where the guys were. The police said there were no obvious signs of foul play, no arrests have been made, autopsy and toxicology reports are pending. So he can leave, but in my opinion, it kind of looks weird. I know there was talk about a search warrant on the home. I don't know if they did that yet or if they found anything. I was also informed that the police have the cell phones of the 3 guys and they're going through those. What do you guys think about this? I mean, I honestly thought the math wasn't mathing in this case as it was, but now he's moving out.
A missing North Carolina teenager was just found hidden under a trap door in this man's home in a completely different state, and what he has to say about it is horrifying.
She hid on her own free will. She was actually in the bed when the officers first come in there. Her grandma kicked her out. She didn't appear to be that age. She had all kinds of piercings.
In December, a 16-year-old girl left her grandparents' home in North Carolina after a fight and disappeared. She was officially reported missing on December 6th, and her grandparents feared the worst. But what they didn't know was that 3 weeks prior to her disappearance, a 34-year-old man named Zachary Jones found the girl online and started talking to her. And he actually lured her from her home after the fight with her grandparents. Zachary then drove the girl all the way back to his home in Lincoln County, Kentucky, where he repeatedly sexually assaulted her and gave her drugs. Fast forward to Christmas Day. Zachary's mom called 911 to report a domestic violence incident between Zachary and who she thought was his girlfriend. And when police arrived at the home, he said the girl was not there. He was quickly cuffed and placed in the back of a cop car after authorities found drugs in the home. And when they went back inside to search for the girl, they found something incredibly disturbing. Locked inside of a trap door hidden under a rug in Zachary's bedroom was a young girl who authorities say appeared very high. After investigating, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office realized that the young girl was reported missing nearly a month prior out of North Carolina. According to the girl, whose name has not been released, she said that Zachary initially told her that he was 19 online, but when she met up with him in North Carolina, he looked much older. It was there that he said he was 25, and it wasn't until they got all the way back to his home that she found out that he was actually 34. The girl said that Zachary was always armed with a gun and that he forced her to tell his family that she was 18. He also threatened to kill her many times and proceeded to sexually assault her and give her drugs, sometimes even strangling her during the assaults. When the girl was rescued, Zachary denied choking her and said that she hid in the trap door on her own free will. But the girl had very visible marks on her neck that proved otherwise. The victim also said that on their drive back to his house, they were pulled over by a cop, and Zachary told her that he would shoot the officer if they were asked to get out of the car. Zachary was arrested and is being held at the Pulaski County Jail, while the girl was taken to the hospital for treatment and was reunited with her grandparents. In an interview from jail, Zachary admitted to all of it, but said that she told him that she was 18. He said that she didn't look to be 16 as she had all sorts of piercings, and that he was helping her after her grandparents kicked her out, which was not true. Zachary is facing 30 different charges in just Kentucky, but he's also facing more charges in North Carolina as well. He's being held without bond, and judging by his lack of remorse, I truly hope that he never gets out, because this story is absolutely terrifying.
Want to get creeped out? Let's talk about the Serbian dancing lady. It's been a minute, but I'm sure most of us remember the video that was circulating. It's pretty creepy. The actual video of this lady was taken in 2019. It was near a hospital in Belgrade, Serbia. But the video really started circulating on TikTok in February of 2023. The woman had been spotted by eyewitnesses jumping out in front of vehicles and threatening them with a knife. There was concern that if she were to approach a pregnant woman or a child, that they would not be able to run away in time. There was also a rumor that she attacked a pregnant lady, but I have not been able to find any news articles or evidence to substantiate. The witnesses believed the woman to be not doing very well mentally, and many eyewitnesses wound up getting footage of this eerie sight. The police had been called regarding this lady, however, they were not able to find her after the search began. She disappeared. The dance itself was very similar to the Serbian folk dance kolo. However, obviously, the site itself was very creepy and eerie. When the video started circulating back in February, there were a lot of other fake videos coming up and a lot of people mimicking the lady and just trying to scare others or make their own videos. The original video definitely was very creepy and terrifying, and a lot of people have speculated that something paranormal was going on. The fact is that we just don't know, and I don't think that anyone has come forward saying that they know who the lady is, which is why these rumors have continued to circulate. What do you guys think?
Hi. I just need you guys to see what I am experiencing at this very moment. I am driving back to LA from Vegas, and I always stop at this little outlet strip mall just to kind of walk around, maybe find a good deal. I pull over and I notice that there's no cars in the parking lot. I look it up, make sure that it's open. It says it's open. I walk inside, and this is what I am seeing. Just nothing. Just vacant. Everything is empty. This fountain has no water in it. It's just odd. But then there's Bath and Body Works, and it's open. Well, there's 2 people in it. It's a mom and a son, and it's the same 2 people I saw when I entered the mall over here. I basically walked around the entire mall just because I was curious to see. And so even that's odd, because I'm like, it's a mom and a son. They're not even the workers. And looking in the shop, there's no one in there. It's just, I feel like this is the mall they filmed like The Last of Us or something. Maybe Warm Bodies. Maybe that's why it was shut down. Or maybe they're going out of business, but freaky. I do have to pee, so I'm gonna use the restroom. But even this, oh my gosh, guys, this is just very eerie. I'm gonna film this just so that way if something happens, maybe, oh, what? Oh, why is the restroom this far back? Onto something, they're clean at least. I have watched one too many scary movies that I am checking all these suckers. It is too quiet back here for this to be normal. This is freaking weird. Gotta go. I didn't like that. I have never peed faster in my life. But as I was walking through more, there was a Bath and Body Works store that was open, and then a Michael Kors. But I'm like, there's no way that those are the only 2 stores that's keeping this place up and running. What a waste of space. I don't know. Is that odd? Is it just me, or is that odd? I see another pedestrian. There are people. Woo!
So I realized I must watch too much true crime, because when I got my coffee, it was like 8:24, and I was like, from an alibi. What alibi?
Can you do the man in the field? Okay, this one's actually really creepy. So this is a paranormal game where the point of the game is to summon the entity of a man into your yard at night. I don't suggest any of you play this game, as you know, summoning entities can be very dangerous. So to play this game, you must have an empty house, only you in it. It has to be dark outside, but before midnight. And you need a candle or a lantern, and also a crucifix. The crucifix part makes it really creepy to me. So you have to go into your yard at night when it's dark out but before midnight, have your crucifix on you somewhere, have your candle or your lantern lit, close your eyes and say 7 times, "Who will scare away the crows?" After the 7th time, it's reported that you should hear a voice saying, "That's not your biggest problem." Return into your house and don't look behind you. Make sure that everything in the house is closed, like all the drawers, cabinets, everything. You've now invited the spirit onto your property. Follow for part 2.
What really happened to Marina Joyce? Many of you might remember this story because it was one of the biggest mysteries on the internet. Marina Joyce began her YouTube career back in 2012. She would build an audience of over 1 million subscribers pretty quickly. But then in 2016, things began to change. The once bubbly personality that appeared on screen was no more. Fans claimed that Marina became jittery and almost scared in her videos. That's when they began to research what could be happening and looking into it a little deeper. It started in one of her videos when you could hear somebody whispering and see somebody's hand in the shot, which was a little weird because she had always done her videos by herself. But then the mysteries just kept popping up. In one of her videos, she starts to jump up to show her socks that she has on, and you can hear what appears to be chains. Then some pictures of her came out in which she was very badly bruised. The mystery came to a head when she posted this with 2 blue lines on her face, which seems to indicate domestic violence. Like and follow for part 2.
I know I'm not FedEx, but your kids are safe on my route.
Please watch this video, because we need to be more aware of our surroundings. So if you are not aware of what sex trafficking is, you need to stop this video and go make yourself aware and educate yourself on it, because it is a very serious thing. It's very scary and it's very real, and it's getting worse. I have been seeing so much, all of these videos or posts or whatever from all of these women sharing how they've almost been sex trafficked. And as I watch these, I always think like, God, I really hope that is never me. Well, it was. So yesterday I went into Walmart. I went to go run in and grab my son some diapers, a few things for dinner, whatever. I want to make it a quick trip. So I go in and I instantly just have this really bad feeling, okay? So first off, always listen to your gut. If your gut or you just feel like something is telling you that something is off, listen to yourself, okay? And be aware of your surroundings. It is not the time anymore for us to be nice to people. It sucks, but that's just how it is. If someone comes up to you and you feel like something is off, you do not owe that person a conversation, money, a smile, nothing. You get in your fucking car and you go. Stop being nice to these people and making yourself an easy target. I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's the truth because this shit is so serious. There's a damn bug in here and it's driving me nuts. So I go into Walmart and like I said, I already have this off feeling. So I'm going down the aisles, I'm zooming through there like real quick. And I noticed that there's these two men and they were a little bit older, maybe like 40s, like early 40s or so. And there's two of them and they don't have anything in their cart. The only thing they have in their cart is a thing of bananas and a can of like green beans, like just like canned veggies. And every aisle I am going down, they are right there with me and they are getting very close to me. And anything I'm looking at, they're kind of looking at it like they're gonna get it, but they don't. They don't even put it in their cart. And so I would go to the next aisle and boom, there they were. And I was like, oh, hell no, I already know what's going on. And like the way they kept looking at each other, it's like they were almost like talking with each other, like through like facial expressions. I don't know, like kind of like, oh, like you see her. And I was like, oh, hell no. So I'm zooming, right? I go to the self-checkout where there's like the big monitor and it's like a security camera. You can see what's going on behind you. You can see yourself. I look up and these men are in the corner of the monitor in the back behind me and they're just staring at me. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm ready. Like, let's go. You want to go? Let's go. So I finished checking out and stuff, and I'm just trying to wait it out and see what happens, you know, and I'm not like, see what happens, like, okay, are you guys going to take me? No, I'm just trying to wait it out to see where they go. And I finished checking out, and I look over, and they're gone. And I'm thinking in my head already, they went to their car, and they're waiting for me to walk out.
A woman was found dead in her home, and investigators noticed that her Fitbit activity tracker showed some odd patterns. They followed its trail all the way to her killer. On December 23, 2015, Richard left the house around 8 a.m. and dropped his sons off at the school bus stop. He was meant to be on his way to work at that point, but he came home first to get a work shirt. While he was changing, Connie left for a spin class at the Y. Then he headed for the office. But only a few minutes into his 40-minute commute, he realized he left his laptop at the house. At the same time he was turning around to go back for it, he got a text alert that their security alarm was going off. It was about 9 a.m. when he got home. When he walked in, he heard a noise upstairs. When he checked it out, he found a strange man going through their bedroom closet. He wore a mask and gloves so he couldn't make out too many distinguishing features, but he described the intruder as 6 foot 2 inches, stocky, with a deep voice like Vin Diesel. He says he manhandled him and demanded his cash, credit cards, and PIN number. While the two of them struggled, he heard Connie come home. He yelled for her to run, and this masked man went flying down the stairs chasing her. The next sound he heard was gunshots coming from the basement. When he went down to investigate, the intruder managed to take him down using pressure points on his wrists. Before he knew it, he was zip-tied to a metal folding chair. Then he pulled out a blowtorch and tried to burn him, but Richard still had one hand free and he fought back and managed to turn the torch on the masked stranger instead. The man's mask went up in flames and he ran up the stairs and out the door, leaving Richard in the basement with his wife's body. By 10:30, help was there. Richard had made his way upstairs to press the panic button and call 911. When the cavalry arrived, he was laying on the kitchen floor with one leg and one arm still attached to the chair. And his first words were chilling. The masked man was still there. They brought out the dogs to hunt him down. They searched the house and the neighborhood, but all they found was Richard's wallet behind the house. But you can't fool animals the way you can fool people. And Rocky, one of the canine cops, thought something smelled off with Richard's story right from the beginning. The only person he smelled around the crime scene was the man of the house. He was so sure about it, he even followed him out to the ambulance to alert his handler that he cracked the case. While Richard was being treated for his injuries at the hospital, they asked him the big question. If we look, will we find any red flags in your marriage? Maybe a third person? Yes, there was a mistress, and she was almost 8 months pregnant with his baby.
This is the package, and it's the first time I'm seeing it.
With tears in her eyes,